So a while ago, I actually decided that once in a while, I want to talk about one of my devices. Not any device though. A device that I've been using for quite some time and I'm still very happy with it. A kind of device that, after using it for some time, you would know that whoever built that device cared about the users, somehow went overboard to make sure it's a rock solid and dependable device. This way I can share with you my experience using that product. Maybe you also had a similar experience or maybe something different. Then we can talk about it in the comments below. I can also show my appreciation to that manufacturer. Hopefully we're gonna see more and better products like this. Why not? By the way, this is not a sponsored video and it is 100% based on my personal experience. So I have already talked about two devices, two products. Number one was my ASUS wireless router. This is actually something that I've been using for almost 6 years now, and I'm extremely happy with it. In fact, in my last video, I talked about why even today, after almost 6 years, I don't need to replace it with a new one, and it pretty much does everything I need. Number two was my Dell laptop. It is actually a 17-year-old laptop, and even today it works absolutely fine. Amazing device. And today I want to talk about this. Yes, it's a Oneplus One, and yes, it's a smartphone. The story actually goes back to sometime in late 2014. I had a Samsung Galaxy S3 for about 2 years and I wasn't very happy with it because after only about 2 years it had become very slow, very sluggish, and the battery life was terrible too. So I was in the market for a new phone. But first of all, I didn't want to pay flagship price, which back then was around $700 for a Samsung Galaxy S5. And I didn't want to buy another slow phone either because I already had one. And that's why I did a thorough research to see which one was the best bang for my buck. So long story short, after doing a lot of research, I came across this video by Marques Brownlee, MKBHD, where he did a great job reviewing this phone.
What is up guys, MKBHD here, and this is the Oneplus One. It's a new phone from a new manufacturer, and it's gotten a lot of attention, and it's actually one of the most polarizing phones I have ever seen. So over in the tech community, this phone is...
Back then I didn't know anything about this company, but I was convinced that it might be the right phone for me because it had flagship specs, but only with half the price. And let's be honest, it has a really cool name too, right? So I decided I should buy it, so I bought it. And I have been using it ever since, which is for almost 5 years now, and never for a single second regretted my decision. First off, they did a great job in the design and build quality departments, and even today this phone still looks good, well, at least to me. The combination of this metal that goes all the way around the phone and this sandstone back cover is very unique to the touch, and I like it a lot. It actually feels very solid and sturdy when you hold the phone. The phone has a 3100 mAh battery, which back then was kinda huge. I actually remember when it was new, a full charge would last about 2 days for me, which was amazing. With some normal talk and text, some social media, and some light games. This situation though got worse and worse every year, which is normal. But after about 3 years, I decided that I want to replace the battery with a new one. I even made a video on how we can do that, because it doesn't have one of those easy removable batteries, and you kinda have to take it apart to get to the battery. Unfortunately, I could not find a genuine battery for this phone and had to buy an aftermarket one off of eBay. which turned out to be even worse than the old one, so I ended up returning it and keep on using the old one. I would say the biggest plus side of this phone is its amazing specs. This was a beast back then, rocking a Snapdragon 801 CPU, 13 megapixel camera, 802.11 AC wireless network, and 3 gigs of RAM. Just so you know how huge 3 gigs of RAM was back then, I gotta say that the new 2019 Google Pixel 3 has 4 gigabytes of RAM. This 5-year-old phone has only 1 gigabyte of RAM, less than the Google's 2019 flagship phone. And I think that's why I can still use this phone today, even when I'm running the latest version of Android. Of course, it is not the fastest phone in the world, but it's not that bad either. My relationship with the software on this phone was kind of a love-hate relationship. Out of the box, it had CyanogenMod 11S, which is a custom-built OS based on Android 4.4. For about 2 years or so, I didn't have any major problem with the software. It was fast, smooth, and I really liked it. I mean, there were minor problems here and there, but they were usually fixed after receiving updates. But after 2-3 years, some weird problems started to happen. For example, one of them was that the phone would randomly get really hot and the battery would drain really fast. It was really annoying, and at first I thought this could be related to some sort of a hardware problem and maybe I should buy a new phone now. But just as a last resort, I replaced the CyanogenMod with Lineage OS because I had heard that Cyanogen was discontinued and was actually rebranded to Lineage OS. After installing the new OS, all the problems were gone. The phone was no longer getting hot, the battery life was better, and it was even faster, even though it's running Android 9 now. When it comes to buying a new phone, different people have different approaches. Some prefer to always have the latest and greatest. I mean, why not? They're willing to pay flagship price, and they most likely are going to replace the phone with a new one as soon as a better one is out, maybe once a year or so. But there's some other people who don't mind if they don't always have the latest and greatest phone. They usually want to get the best bang for the buck. That's why every time they want to buy a new phone, they do a research to see, based on their budget, what is the best phone available in the market that can do what they need it to do, and hopefully for as long as possible. It could be a budget phone if their budget is low, or even a flagship phone if the budget is not that low. The point is, even if they buy a flagship phone, unlike the other group, they don't intend to replace it with a new one as soon as a better one is out, and they actually want to use it for as long as possible. That being said, I think Oneplus One back then was a great choice for the second group. It kind of checked all the boxes. Not only was it reasonably priced, it was good looking, durable, fast, powerful, with a good battery life. I just wish there was a genuine replacement battery by Oneplus One so I could buy and replace the old one. You might have noticed that I have not talked about the Oneplus One camera yet. The reason for that was not because it doesn't have a good camera or something like that. In fact, the camera is good compared to the phones of the same generation, of course. The reason for that was because when I bought this phone, having a phone with a good camera was not a priority for me, because I rarely used my phone to take pictures or shoot some videos. But that has changed recently. Now I make videos on YouTube and I actually don't mind having a phone with a good camera, especially for my second channel where I make travel videos and vlogs. I mean, the Oneplus One still has a decent camera, but when you compare it with today's phones that they have like multiple cameras and stuff, it doesn't have much to offer. That, and also the fact that the battery life is now down to only half a day with a full charge, puts me back in the market for a new phone. I guess I better do some research now so I can replace the amazing Oneplus One with a phone that hopefully in a few years time I can make a similar video about it and talk to you about why this was a great device. But until then, thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like button if you like this video, share it if you think others might like it too, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you again, and I will see you next time.